the market open coming up on our screens. It's 25 points higher. It's slow, steady. It's calm. And it's not very excitable, which is good news. So slow and steady does it. Let's see, 24,828, 24,830 is where we are at. And the Sensex is starting about a 0.25% higher, 81,200 or so. Nifty Bank is up 0.4%, 56,662. Mid-cap index is starting about 1/3% lower for now. And that's something to watch out for, because broader markets, large caps, maybe, we see a bit of a reversal earlier. We don't know if that will be today, but I think that'll be first off the block. Broader markets, not so sure. 0.5% down on the mid-cap index. Now, watch that closely. We got the heat map, Nifty heat map up on your screen. I think you got about 25 down and about 22, 23, which are higher. So it's kind of evenly split. 16 lower now on the Nifty, a bit of a swing on the other side, but still flattish. Surabhi.
Okay, so we've got some red on the screen. Now the Nifty is down about 20 points. Let's see what the drags are. Tata Steel, Hindalco, the metal names basically, which have had a good run along with China. There's Tata Motors that's reacting quite poorly to those JLR numbers. Power grid is lower. BPCL is down. Actually, BPCL brings me to other oil marketing companies as well. That would be on expected lines. HPCL, BPCL, IOC, all of them dealing with cuts of about 1%, so it's not too bad. Anyway, then there's some profit taking on IT, HCL Tech, TCS, Tech Mahindra. These are names on the way down. However, what is working for the bulls? Lever, 1.5% up. M&M, one of the picks that Amnish just described at PL. There's Ultratech Cement, Cipla. These are some gains. And the Bank Nifty. Let's see if the Bank Nifty can make a more decisive move. SBI, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank. There's some green here, but it's really flip-flopping at this point in time. By the way, watch out for Trent. Trent is up 0.5%. They keep disrupting the market, and Manglam was pointing out that they're now getting into lab-grown diamonds and trying to come out with very, very disruptive pricing as well. So let's see. That's an interesting stock in the news today. But absolutely at the flat line. Big battle between the bulls and the bears going on right now.
Well, that's right, Surabhi. A few stocks that are moving and, falling on high volumes. You have MTNL, that one's reeling under pressure. SBI has declared MTNL non-performing asset. So that one on very, very high volumes, that's lower. Suzlon is now down closer to around 5%. So that's a big downtake, actually, that we're seeing on Suzlon. So keep an eye out on that one as well, now down 4%. Jyoti Structures, volumes higher there. Late last afternoon, Ashish Kosholia's name had appeared in the past quarter disclosure, so that could be one of the reasons. From the F&O frontline names, well, a few stocks that deserve special mention. The metal stocks, they're getting clobbered. Is China's recovery not as much as what the street was working with? Well, that could be a factor at play. NMDC and Nalco, both of them down 5 to around 6%. JSPL as well down closer to 2.5%, and Vedanta down 2.5%. Keep in mind, the index has rallied close to 10%. So that's coming for some profit taking. Later on in the show, we'll have a conversation going with Nalco. Two more stocks, HEG, they have gone ahead and they have picked up 8% stake in a larger competitor globally. For the time being, the stock had opened up in the green with a gain of around 2%. And High-Tech Pipes, they have launched that QIP. 600 crores is what they're looking to raise. We'll get both these managements for you here on CNBC-TV18 in the next 90 minutes or so. So keep an eye out on both those two counters. Prashant.
Well, it's quiet, and quiet is good. So approaching markets with some trepidation and some nervousness. So let's see if we are able to hold, or there is another wave of selling which comes. But a lot has happened last 5 days, very, very quickly. I mean, the classic sort of saying, right? Markets go up, taking the stairs, come down the escalator, and that's essentially what's happened. Very fast, and lots of FI selling. Now, just a quick broader market check, right? 2:1 declines to advances. So broader markets are still reeling under some underselling pressure. And maybe we can put out a few names. Sobha is down 3% on volumes. Viatec Vabag is down about 4% on decent sized volumes. NBCC is at about 110 or odd, 3.5% lower. I won't repeat the metal names which Nigel put out, but they are some of the big losers. Suzlon is down about 3.5%. It's by far the biggest volume-led cut. Stocks at about 68, 69 on Suzlon. So there is some amount of pressure coming through. And Shakti Pumps, I mean, there was a bonus which came through. Stock went up 10% in 2 days, but it's back at about 4,200. In any case, I mean, it's one of the best performing stocks in a long time. On the upside, the biggest volume-led gainer, number one, is BSC. Bombay Stock Exchange is up 3.5% on a very large volume. So watch this one, 39.70 or so on BSE. And, it's largely basically around the levels before the SEBI FNO restrictions came through, and the announcement that each exchange can only have one contract on which it can offer weekly options expiry. So it's corrected a little bit. The high in the recent move was closer to about 4,300. Stocks at about 39.50 now. Paytm is reversing a little bit. It's up 3%. Decent sized moves. So these are stocks where there has been interest and they got sold with the market. Paytm 673 or so. Mahindra and Mahindra, I think we had a technical call from one of our analysts, 1% higher. It's got decent sized volumes. Amber is up 2%. PG Electroplast, big climb down recently. High was about 694. And of course, yesterday it fell to about 530. It's coming back to about 560 now. That's a 4% pop. So you'll see lots of this, stocks which have been sold, clawing back a little bit here and there. So that's the overall market picture.
Well, I think the one positive is the Nifty Bank is showing signs that it wants to fight back. Last half hour yesterday, the index itself was moving 1,000 points. In the positive, it recovered 1,000 points, and then in fact it ended with a cut of around 1,000 points odd. That's showing some fight. So keep an eye out on the Nifty Bank. That needs to bounce from these levels to get a sustainable bounce. And the Nifty Financial Services Index also plays out the weekly expiry today. The other index is the Nifty IT Index. That's been holding one end up. For starters, that's opened up mildly in the red, I think. So it's down close to around 0.5% odd. And that's been the go-to segment of the market as well. So we'll have to see whether or not that can bounce. I think the ingredients are in place for a bit of a bounce today. For the time being, we're consolidating, which is not such a bad outcome after the kind of selling we've been seeing on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, banks can bounce or Reliance can bounce. Reliance is the other one, which has fallen quite a bit. I mean, that single-handedly could sort of do it for the market as well. At least at the margin. It's already starting to recover, RIL. I mean, I think yesterday's low on Reliance was about 27.20. And of course, it's fallen from about 3,200 kind of levels. Today's low is 27.30. It's recovered about 10 bucks, 10, 15 rupees from the day's lowest point. So this is the other one.